Thank you for joining us for our daily presidential race analysis. There's a lot of distractions. There are a lot of distractions that are being thrown at you by the media, by the candidates, by the administration that's intended to confuse you. I'm going to get into some of those at the top of the hour in what I call presidential race media distractions. But for now, let's talk about the presidential race. Trends. According to a new Washington Post ABC News poll, Donald Trump is still leading the Republican and Republican-leaning voters in their preference for the nomination. Retired pediatric neurosurgeon Ben Carson is still in second place nationally, followed by Senator Marco Rubio. According to this particular poll, Senator Ted Cruz has 8% and Florida Governor Jeb Bush has 6%. This poll only had 373 Republican-leaning registered voters. Remember, I don't put as much stock into polls that have less than 500 participants. Remember, we've got 320 million plus people living in the country. We've got, I don't remember the exact number of how many people that vote, but usually if you got a poll that's got 1,000 or more, it's a little bit more reliable. You see, even in the New York Post ABC News poll, it says it has a 6% margin of error. And the higher the margin of error is, that's usually a reflection of the lower number in the poll. On the other hand, there was another poll. This was the latest Fox News poll released Sunday. They have a margin of error of 4.5%. So it's a little bit better. Now, here's what's interesting about that poll. I don't know the exact number. I couldn't find that. But the fact that the margin of error is lower, that is a good thing. But here's what's interesting about this trend. Donald Trump is still in first place, 28%. Ben Carson is still in second place, 18%. But get this. Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio are tied for third place. Double digits even, 14%. We have seen this trend recently of Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio moving up. And it appears as if both are gaining at the expense of Ben Carson, though not totally. But also they're gaining because some of the other Republican candidates are not gaining traction. Trends. Here's another trend from the Fox poll that has not changed. Jeb Bush at 5%. This is nationally. Now, I know that the Bush campaign has started to spend money advertising in certain states. Good. Temporarily pushing up the poll numbers. Good. But when you look at it nationally, he's still in the low single digits, which says something about how the electorate may be looking at this. Here again, this is a trend. But the biggest trend that changed from last week to this week is that Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio are in double digits, tied for third place. And that is just a trend to keep an eye on as things continue to unfold. Speaking of things continuing to unfold, Hillary Rodham Clinton. More free stuff. Shana B, I hope you're keeping track of how she's going to pay for all this stuff
Oh, I can't wait to vote. I'm going to vote me all kinds of free stuff.
Let me tell you about the latest thing she going to offer you. She want to help you take care of your aging parents. You know, some people have aging parents. Mine are already gone on to heaven. She is proposing a new tax break. Here we go. That those words. New tax break. That is code for keep the current messed up IRS code. That's also code for I'm going to play favorites. It's code for let me see if I can't pander to some more people with some more free stuff. For people caring for aging parents and grandparents as part of a series of benefits she says will help middle-class families. Who's going to pay for this stuff? They don't care. They just want to keep making the promises. You see, she unveiled her latest proposal on Sunday and plans to discuss it at a town hall-style meeting in Iowa. She is seeking a tax credit of up to $6,000 to offset caregiving expenses for elderly family members. Who's going to pay for it? Hillary, I have a suggestion for you. If you eliminate the tax code, simplify it, get government out of the way, and stop trying to manage people's behavior through the tax code, they'll be able to take care of their family members themselves. Here again, folks, the Democrat presidential candidates are working on the wrong problem. They're working on the wrong problem when it comes to helping the middle class. The middle class can help themselves if government gets out of the way. But all of the Democrat candidates keep trying to create more barriers by promising more free stuff, knowing full well that it means that you're going to have less liberties. And that's not the direction that the American people want to go. But our challenge is to make sure that we wake more of them up about what's going on. Wake them up. Because the more people wake up, the better decisions that they're going to make. Now, over the weekend, according to some of the reports today, the talking programs, they call them talking heads. I'm going to be a little bit more polite than that. They talked about a lot of things, but I didn't hear a lot of them talking about replacing the tax code. I didn't hear a lot of the questions coming from the press talking about reducing tax rates, collapsing brackets. No. But you got a lot of coverage of Trump being asked about databases, being asked about the wall, a lot of comments from a lot of folk about refugees. They even brought up waterboarding. What's that got to do with boosting the economy, fighting ISIS, and rebuilding our military? Nothing. So that's why we're going to talk about some of those distractions at the top of the hour. Now, a word about President Obama's comment about not living in fear, because he is saying that we can do all of the things that we need to do without sacrificing our values.
We will not give in to fear or start turning on each other or treating some people differently because of religion or race or background.
But you see, folks, giving in to fear doesn't mean that you are just afraid for yourself. It means you don't want bad things to happen to other people. None of us want what happened in Paris to happen anywhere else. So it's not just about self-fear. It's about fear that other communities and other families are going to be hurt. When I first heard about the Paris attacks, it wasn't, phew, it's not me or my family. No. My first reaction emotionally was, I need to pray for the families that know that they have lost loved ones. So it's not about self-fear. It is about being concerned about all of the other things, other families and other people on this planet. And one of the other things that was up in the news over the weekend is where Ted Cruz was challenging the president relative to weakness in dealing with ISIS and radical Islamic terrorism in general.
What I'm not interested in doing is pursuing some notion of American leadership or America winning.
At least 120 people confirmed dead. Deadly explosions, machine guns, and a rock concert.
The president said if a JV team puts on Lakers uniforms, that doesn't make them Kobe Bryant.
A Russian passenger jet crashed.
It was ISIS or an ISIS affiliate.
ISIS thugs threatening Washington, D.C.
Our goal has been first to contain, and we have contained them.
In a Cruz administration, it would be clear to any militant on the face of the earth, if you wage jihad against America, you're signing your death warrant.
When it comes to radical Islamic terrorism, I think we need to rediscover Ronald Reagan's strategy. We win, they lose.
When I hear folks say that, well, maybe we should just admit the Christians but not the Muslims, that's shameful. That's not American.
And Mr. President, if you want to insult me, you can do it overseas, you can do it in Turkey, you can do it in foreign countries. But I would encourage you, Mr. President, come back and insult me to my face. Let's have a debate on Syrian refugees right now. We can do it anywhere you want.
See, it sounds as if, folks, that there is a stark contrast between Ted Cruz and the other Republican candidates in this administration. And it also sounds like Ted Cruz is saying, let's debate this. But you see, the administration continues to want to distract from what's really going on, distract from what we really ought to be doing, and cover it up with a layer of empty rhetoric about destroying ISIS. You're listening to The Herman Cain Show.